What's going on, Dolphins? It is your boy Dillon, and I'm here to do my post-game analysis, review video for the Dolphins. Super unfortunate loss yesterday against the Buffalo Bills. Look, my expectation, obviously, as you guys know, was that we were going to end up losing because this is a really tough Bills team. I think, their defense is better than what, a lot of Dolphins fans say it is. I think it's a pretty solid defense all around. And if you look at their defensive performance from yesterday, that certainly would help to, push that narrative. So, there is that, but I do think they are a solid defense. They're also, a really good, generally high-powered offense, even though, Josh Allen didn't really do much. But look, at the end of the day, I thought the Dolphins would, at least make some progress on offense. So I was right about the fact that we lost, unfortunately. I was hoping that they were going to surprise me there. They didn't. I was also right about the 35 points that I said that the Bills were going to put up. But like I said, I thought the offense was at least going to maybe take a step forward and put, some 27 points. That was my prediction. I put 27 points. And unfortunately, I was wrong about that. And they scored no points. Now, obviously, Tua getting hurt has something to do with that. We will get into that. Let me go ahead and just switch over here to my little template. And so you guys can see, because we're going to go through all this. But it was massively disappointing. That offensive line played like complete garbage. We had no run game. They were sacking us left and right. Like, it was super bad. And, just real quick, the Tua injury. So I normally have my injuries at the very bottom, as you can see here. So just real quick, I'll just talk about it. But you can see my injuries, my injury watch. There were a couple players. Landon Roberts got a little banged up with like some kind of arm thing, but I think he came back and it wasn't a big deal. Jakeem Grant had an ankle issue, it's a ankle sprain. It's not from what I've heard, it's not a high ankle sprain, but it's an ankle sprain. And it doesn't seem to be too severe, so we'll just see how that goes, see how he's going. He's probably going to have a questionable designation. And then obviously Tua came out of the game with his rib injury. And so, right now it's just kind of a day-to-day, week-to-week kind of thing. They did x-rays and MRIs. They said it's not too bad. There's no like breaks or fractures or anything like that, so it just looks like it's bruised. And if he does play this upcoming Sunday against the Raiders, it will be like a pain tolerance thing, and whether or not he can withstand that and handle that throughout the duration of the game. And he might even have to wear like a flak jacket or whatever if he feels like that's necessary and he wants to do that. So obviously that's going to be a big thing, but that's one of the devastating storylines is that that shit ass offensive line got our quarterback hurt. And there was even a moment where, and I actually didn't put it on there, but Jacoby Brissett was a little slow to get up too after taking a pounding after one hit, after taking a pounding throughout the duration of the game. But after one of the hits he took, he was a little slow to get up. So and if I'm keeping it real, I honestly don't want Tua to be behind this offensive line, especially if he's not 100%, because I already have concerns for the longevity of his career because of his injury history. But then you don't give him any chance to succeed, let alone be healthy, if you put him behind a turnstile offensive line that's absolute garbage, right? So do I want to see him in the game because he's my quarterback and I think he gives us the best chance to win, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah, but I don't want to see him get injured further because that offensive line is absolute trash, and I don't see that getting fixed anytime soon. So we'll see, man. We shall see. Because, look, the Raiders, and look, Derek, I don't want to get too much into that because obviously I'll have a preview video, but Derek Carr could potentially not be in that game. So it would be interesting if it's, a game of backups, but they have good pass rushers, man. And Tyler Croft and, oh God, who's the other guy? Anyway, whatever. Like I said, I'm not getting into that because that's preview video, but they do have some good pass rushers, and so I'm worried about that offensive line going forward. But anyway, so that's injuries. Not good. But, one other quick thing, one other bit of Dolphins news too is Will Fuller is actually back at practice. So that's interesting. Obviously, that's a, storyline that we'll have to keep an eye on. Does he actually even play this week? We'll see. But again, I'm not even really convinced that it's going to make any difference because, I mean, look at, yesterday and even the Patriots game. I mean, there was no pocket. And yesterday obviously was even worse. They got 6 sacks on us, right? Like, it was brutal. It was brutal. So we couldn't score any points. It was brutal. So, I don't know. Anyway, let's get into this Dolphins-Bills game, though. So both teams are now 1-1 after that because the Dolphins won their first game. They lost this one and vice versa for the Bills. Ironically enough, the Raiders just beat the Steelers, who beat the Bills last week, right? So, and the Raiders are now 2-0 on the season, and we have to go play them in their home stadium in Vegas. It's going to be a tough game, man. And look, I'm going to just say this right now. It's a little bit of a spoiler. I'm still going to predict a win, but my prediction at this point is going to be and we'll have to wait and see how the week plays out. We'll have to see, if our quarterback's going to be in there, if their quarterback, but my guess as of right now is it's probably going to be a pretty tight game, close game, maybe even somewhat low scoring, low to mid scoring. Like I said, we'll see. But they're 2-0. We have to go play them. It's all right. Again, this is not that preview video. I know because I'm like, look, dude, at the end of the day, I'm going to keep it real. Like, I don't even want to do this video, bro, because like this game was so shitty that like, I don't even want to talk about it. But I have to. So obviously they completely destroyed us. It was a blowout. It was a shutout. And look, like I said, I predicted a 35-27. I thought the offense was going to maybe take a little bit of a step forward and that they just weren't going to be able to keep up with the Bills. But my worst fears came true. The offensive line was trash, etc. And they absolutely regressed and they didn't do much of shit. They couldn't really get anything going. They couldn't score any points. Play calling was also, questionable at times. I mean, there were times where they could have even kicked a field goal to put something on the board and chose not to. We were 0 for 4 on 4th downs. And, that actually doesn't go into the turnover total, but we turned the ball over 4 times on downs. So, all right, let's get through this. I did, in this breakdown of the games, I did add some, as you can see here, of the league standings just to add further context. But this stuff is just strictly the per game average statistics. I'm not doing the overall because there's kind of no point. I did add in the points per game, though. So, with this loss and having scored only 0 points, that, and only 17 the week before, that gives us only 8.5 on the season, which puts us 31st in the league. For the Bills, they are at 13th with 25.5 after the 35 they put up yesterday. So these statistics here, these league standings are per game. These statistics for the defensive statistics, that's what our defense did. Whereas, the number here on the left part of that is what we did, is what our, offense gave up in the game, right? So how many fumbles we had, but the league standing statistic is is relative to our defense. This is relative to our offense. And obviously these statistics are what we did in the game. So in the game against the Bills, we only put up 216 total yards. They put up 314. Not even all that much, honestly, right? And our defense definitely, I mean, last game against the Patriots, our defense 100% saved the game. Because we almost assuredly would have lost that game if it wasn't for the Xavier Howard fumble. Because they, at a bare minimum, expectedly would have put up a field goal, if not a touchdown, to take the lead, right? So, and then this game, the defense kept us in it. You know, it was 14-0 at halftime. There was some chance. You know, Xavier Howard got a beautiful interception. We got a couple turnovers, but it wasn't anywhere close to enough, unfortunately, in part because not only did we give up, you know, 2 fumbles and an interception, but we turned the ball over on downs 4 times, right? So anyway, so we only had 216. They had 314. For our offense, we are 29th in the league for average total yards per game. Defensively, we're 15th. Offensively, for them, they are 21st. Defensively, they are 2nd. Passing yards, we had 145 in this game. They had 171. For our average on the year for the offense, though, we are 29th per game and 15th for defense. They are 27th per game on offense. They're and 4th on defense. Rushing yards, we had 71 in this game. They had a $143. For our average so far, we are 26th on the year. They for offense and 27th on defense for rushing yards per game. They are 6th on offense and 7th on defense. We only had 3.1 yards per play to their 4.9. We gave up 2 fumbles, but our defense is first in the league for fumbles as of right now. They gave up 1, and they are actually right behind us for second place in the league with fumbles, taking away fumbles, right? We had 1 interception in this game, we gave up 1 interception in this game. But our defense is 18th overall in the league for interception takeaways. They had 1 interception in this game, or gave up 1 interception in this game. But their defense is 13th overall in the league in interceptions. So we obviously gave up 6 sacks in this game, which is atrocious. And our defense is only 29th in the league for sacks, which is also not very good. They gave up just 1 sack, and they happen to be 2nd in the league defensively for sacks. Obviously, this 6-sack performance really boosted them in that category. Third down conversions, we had 44%, which isn't terrible. Ideally, you do want to be over 50, but, you know, not terrible. So that's kind of a silver lining, I guess, statistically at least. But we did give up 53%. Time of possession, we had the ball for 31-34. Obviously, doesn't matter for fucking jack shit if you can't score any points, like literally 0. So, you know, who cares? They had the ball for 28-26, scored 35 points and won the game. We had 9 penalties. They had 6. Obviously that had something to do with it, but that certainly was not, it wasn't because of penalties that we lost this game. That is for damn sure. So in the passing game, obviously Jacoby Brissett led the way because Tua got injured. He was 24 of 40, 60%, a $169, no touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 53 or 59.3. For, you know, the brief time that Tua was in, he was 1 of 4, 25%, 13 yards, and a 40.6. So it is what it is. It sucks. It is what it is. Poor kid. I feel bad for him, man, because he's really not being set up for success. He just isn't. Josh Allen was 17 for 33, 51.5%. It was 179, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and a 75.2. That's what I'm saying, man. Josh Allen didn't even really have that big of a day in his, you know, passing stat line. He did have some decent run yardage to add on to that, so that does improve his overall stat line. And, you know, he did extend some plays and so on and so forth with his legs. And let's be clear, right? Josh Allen can certainly run the football, and he is a danger as a mobile quarterback. But that's not the only, let's be clear, that's not the only way in which Josh Allen kills teams with his legs. It's oftentimes because he's out, getting out of the pocket, avoiding pressure, extending plays, and then, as he did in this game, doing things like throwing across his body to the end zone to hit Stephon Diggs, right? So, anyway, rushing, Myles Gaskin led the way for us. 5 rushes, 25 yards, and a 5 average. Malcolm Brown, 5 for 21 and a 4.2. And Salvon Ahmed had 6 for 17 and a 2.8. Devin Singletary led the way for them, 13, 82 yards, 1 touchdown, and a 6.3 average. Josh Allen had 5 rushes, 35 yards, and a 7 average. Zach Moss added an 8 for 26, 2 touchdowns, and a 3.3 average. Jalen Waddle led the way for us in receiving, 6 of 8 for 48 yards. We just didn't do much of shit. Devontae Parker dropped a touchdown pass. There were dropped passes in this game, 2 to Albert Wilson. It was just so bad. It was so bad. But Parker was 5 of 9 for 42. Gesicki 3 of 6 for 41. Myles Gaskin 4 of 5 for 21. Albert Wilson 4 of 6 for 20. And again, another thing to add to the play calling, we saw Mike Gesicki was starting to heat up against this Bills defense, and that's something that they have a hard time defending, his tight ends, but then they decide to go away from him in their play calling and stuff. Just like last week, the first drive of the first half and the first drive of the second half, they used a lot more up-tempo and RPO stuff in those drives, in the scripted drives, but then came away from it. So the play calling has been very suspect in these first 2 games as well. Stephon Diggs led the way for them, 4 of 8, 60 yards and a touchdown. Emmanuel Sanders, 2 of 6, 48. Cole Beasley, 4 of 4 for 36. Dawson Knox, 2 of 3 for 17 yards. And by the way, just real quick, so you guys know, in these statistics, they got to have at least 10 yards and or a touchdown for me to put them in the statistics. Obviously, there was some other players that got, some touches that didn't have those requirements. For the defensive statistics, they got to have a minimum of 3 solo tackles and or some additional stats like, fumbles, fumble-related stuff, passes, defense, interceptions, whatever. So Brandon Jones led the way for us. 5 solo tackles, 1 assisted, and a fumble recovery. Zach Sealer, 4 solo, 2 assisted. Jason McCourty, 3 solo tackles. Justin Coleman, 3 solo tackles. Byron Jones, 3 solo tackles with 2 passes defense. Jerome Baker, 2 solo, 1 assisted, a forced fumble, and a pass defense. Emmanuel Ogbah, 1 solo, 3 assisted with a half sack. Andrew Van Ginkel, 1 solo, 3 assisted, a half sack, and a forced fumble. Christian Wilkins, 1 solo, 3 assisted, and a pass defense. And Xavier Howard, 1 solo, 1 assisted, 1 interception for a single yard, and 2 passes defensed. In total, and I mean, these numbers, some of it's all right. Obviously getting an interception, 2 forced fumbles, a fumble recovery, 6 passes defense. That stuff's good. But we had no tackles for loss. 1 sack isn't enough, man. And these tackle totals aren't even all that great. We only had 30 total. 24 assisted. That, was better than the 19 that we had last week. And it means that the defense was a little bit better this week in getting more hats to the football. Really, collapsing on the ball carrier, but their total tackles definitely dropped off. I think last week they were 51. But yeah, and then so, in the defense, even for the couple good moments with the Xavier Howard interception, the turnovers, the passes defense, even the defense has, plenty of their own weaknesses, unfortunately. So, but let's see, Tre'Davious White led the way, 7 solo, 2 assisted with a tackle for loss. And look at the comparison in numbers here, though, especially when we get to the bottom and we see the full stat line. For their defense, Matt Milano had 5 solo, 1 sack, 2 tackles for loss, and a fumble recovery. Micah Hyde, 4 solo, 3 assisted, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Jordan Poyer, 4 solo tackles with a pass defense. Gregory Rousseau, 3 solo, 2 assisted, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. AJ Klein, 3 solo, 2 assisted with a tackle for loss. Teron Johnson had 3 solo, 1 assisted, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, 1 forced fumble, and 2 passes defensed. Dane Jackson, 3 solo, 1 assisted. Levi Wallace, 2 solo tackles, 1 interception for 14 yards and 2 passes defensed. Justin Zimmer, 1 solo, 2 assisted, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss. Tywan Jones added in a forced fumble, and Damar Hamlin added in a pass defensed. But look at this stat line. So they actually didn't have much more in total tackles. Only, you know what? I'm actually gonna check this because I feel like I might not. I feel like I might not have changed that. So I'm going to check that just really fast to make sure I have those totals correct. But obviously the rest of the way, though, I do know that the rest of this is correct. So 6 sacks is obviously not acceptable. I mean, we cannot be giving up no damn 6 sacks. I mean, it's just outrageous, right? So yeah, and I'm sorry because I did screw this up. So let me. I just forgot to change it. So they had, as you can see, now that I am changing it, they had 41 total tackles, 11 more than us, and about the same assisted tackles with 22. Solid performance there in tackles wise, but 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss. I mean, that's fucking outrageous. Those 2 numbers right there, plus a forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 1 interception, 14 yards, and 6 passes defensed. I mean, it's just crazy, 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 bro. So obviously nowhere near good enough from our offense from yesterday. In the kicking game, Jason Sanders didn't kick for anything because we didn't try any field goals. Like, we literally didn't try not a single one. And obviously we didn't score any touchdowns, so no extra points. Tyler Bass did miss his 1 field goal attempt, but was good on all 5 of his extra points. In the punt game, Michael Pilardi had 5 for a 44.4 average, 1 inside the 20 and a long of 61. Matt Hawk, former Dolphins punter, had 4 for a 46 average, none inside the 20 and a 54 average. In the kickoff return game, the Bills didn't have any. We only had 1. It was from Jakeem Grant, and it was a 31-yard return. In the punt game, we had 2 returns, 1 from Grant for 1 yard and 1 from Waddle that didn't go anywhere. That was on the one where he muffed the punt and it became a turnover. Isaiah McKenzie had 2 punt returns for a 16.5 average, a long of 20. Key points in analysis, did we win? Fuck no, we weren't even close. It was devastating. And a quick game breakdown. In the first quarter, Dolphins received the ball. We go 3 and out on our first drive. Bills then go down the field after just 2 plays and score a touchdown. Dolphins then get their first turnover on downs of the game after 5 plays on their second drive. Bills then go score their second touchdown to make the game 0-14 after 7 plays. Dolphins then go 3 and out. Bills then fumble after 3 plays. Dolphins get an interception after 4. Bills go 3 and out. Dolphins fumble after 13. And then we make it to the second quarter where the Bills throw an interception after 5 plays. Dolphins have their second turnover on downs after 4 plays. Bills go 3 and out. Dolphins punt after 9. And then here, the Bills ended up punting. This was where Jalen Waddle ended up fumbling because the Bills punt, Jalen Waddle catches it, fumbles it, tries to recover it, fumbles it again, and then the Bills end up, rolling on it. That was after 4 plays. That's why the Bills then, though, end up going on their next drive, their 8th drive of the game. They missed the field goal there, and then the Dolphins end the half with a kneel. Third quarter comes around. Bills receive the ball. They get a touchdown after 8 plays on their 9th drive to make it 0-21. Dolphins punt after 6 plays. Bills then punt after 5. Dolphins have their 3rd turnover on downs on their 10th drive. Bills then have a touchdown after 11 plays to make it 0-28. And then the 4th quarter comes. Dolphins go 3 and out. Bills touchdown after 8 plays on their 12th drive and to make it 0-35, 35-0, whatever. Dolphins then have their 4th turnover on downs. Bills end the game after 2 plays. And that is what we had to endure. Well, boy. Yeah, no, it was devastating. I honestly didn't expect it to be that bad. I did think if one team could run away with it, it would be the Bills. But I was not expecting to get completely shut out and everything like that. Losing Tua fucking sucks. This offensive line is garbage like I thought it was. And I told you guys I didn't even, have faith in the interior, man. They had plenty of their own problems, including several penalties and stuff yesterday. So, I mean, it was rough. I'm not really sure that it's going to get fixed anytime soon. You know, the Deshaun Watson stuff is, you know, popping up and stuff again. And it's just, it's a disaster, man. And I'm worried. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. Like, I'm worried for the season. You know, I still, as of right now, I mean, this was one of my predicted losses, and I am still, as of right now, going to go into next week with a win prediction against the Raiders. But it's gotten a lot tighter after this game, and like I said, it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a tough game, and they could end up coming out with the win, man. And if they do, then that's going to, you know, force me to change the record a little bit. I have them currently at 10-7 because they did get the win against New England in week 1. But if they lose against the Raiders and I have that as a win currently, well then unfortunately, you know, that's going to force me to take away one of my wins because they will have proven me wrong. So, man, and, you know, we're still early in the season. We're not done experiencing injuries. Raekwon Davis is on IR for a few weeks. We don't know if Tua's going to play. I'm worried for the season, man. And unfortunately, you know, right now, look, it's still super early. There are still 15 games left to play. Let's see how things play out for sure. You know, but there is some chance that, you know, my initial prediction for the season, 9-8, that's possible. It's very possible. My preseason prediction, like my preseason, right, before training camp and all of that stuff, I said that they were going to win 6 games. I mean, if we sustain any more serious injuries to prominent players, with the way that this offensive line is playing, our run defense is not good already. I hope not, man. I hope not. But there is some probability of you know, it being worse than 9-8 as well. So, look, again, just to reiterate and to end on a little bit more of a positive note, that the season is not done yet. It's not, I know a lot of us kind of feel that way and felt like the wheels were falling off. Feels real doom and gloom right now. And there is reason to believe that, right? I'm a realistic person. I'm going to keep it real. But let's try and just, you know, hold it together and see how the rest of the season plays out. And, you know, let's start with this upcoming week against the Raiders. So it's not over yet. Let's take a deep breath and just recalibrate and hope for the best this upcoming week. Hopefully we can get back on track. Hopefully we do get a win. And we go to 2-1 on the season, and things don't just snowball from here. So, yeah, and then one more final thing before I do get out of here. Obviously, I am also going over the course of the week. I am going to be doing my, you know, quick hit scouting report videos for all of the teams that remain on our schedule. So, you know, after week 2. There is a game tonight. It's the Detroit Lions and the Green Bay Packers. We don't play either of those teams, so I will not be doing a video for that. Tonight, though, I do intend to do a video for the Chiefs-Ravens game that was last night. You know, the Sunday night game, because obviously we play the Ravens. So look out for that today, and then over the course of the week, I will just do, you know, the remaining games. I don't know who plays Thursday, so I don't know if I'll be actually watching that game or what, but look out for those scouting report videos. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys appreciate my perspective. If you do, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. Share my channel and videos with your friends and family. Leave your questions, comments, and concerns down in the comments section. Of course, as always, follow me on Twitter at Dillon Tartaro. And with that, I am out. I'll see y'all soon. Fins up.